Dan radio show. Tonight we are drinking Dewar's. I think it's how you pronounce it. It's spelled like it says Dewar's, but it's pronounced Dewar's because it's a Scotch word. Anyway, that's what we got tonight, and tonight our guest is Alec Adams. Go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
Yeah, Alec, AJ, whatever, however you know me. Yeah, the Dewar's, I was going to tell you, I had a guy come in and order it at Chili's or Soul Garden, one of the restaurants I was at. And
okay.
He wanted some Dewar's. Some Dewar's. And I had no idea what he's talking about, but I figured it out after a little bit.
Yeah, because when this was the first Scotch or first like spirit that I ever bought. Like I bought it on my 21st birthday. I drove to the liquor store and went and got it, and it was the cheapest Scotch because I didn't have any idea how expensive Scotch is.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
Because I was like, I'll get Johnny Walker, and I'm like, I don't have $30 on me. I have 23, so that's why I bought this. And I was like, you know what? It's pretty damn good. Mm-hmm. It's definitely like if you go to like any bar, like a restaurant, like a Scotch on the rocks, that this is what they're going to give you. It's like the cheap Scotch.
Yeah.
Quote unquote cheap.
Quote unquote cheap.
But have you had it before?
I don't think I have.
I like it.
Yeah, no, it works for me.
But it's a real like golden amber color. It's not real dark like most Scotches. Because like a lot of times you get like a bourbon or something that's like damn near black.
Yeah.
Or like a rum is like super dark. These are super light colored, and they taste like hot bog water mixed with trees. That's actually what it's made out of. That's how they use it. They use
bog water, really?
Yeah, they use peat.
Oh no, peat for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they would just hard.
Yeah.
Bog mud.
Yeah.
And they just use that, and that's what they use to distill it.
And it gives part of the smoky flavor too.
Yeah, that's why you get that earthy, smoky flavor. It makes you think like you're drinking something out of the medieval ages.
Something out of the campfire.
Yeah, and that's why it's so popular. And like a lot of people are like, oh, it tastes terrible. Yeah, but it makes you feel real good.
Real warm.
Real good. So
yeah.
It's great for winter, even though like I put winter in quotations because
it's great for always.
Yeah, yeah. Unlike IPAs, which are good for never. So
see, that's where you and I always come to blows because I like IPAs.
You like
I like them.
God, did your mom not hug you enough?
No, maybe a little too much. I don't know. No. Mom and Dad always they're very supportive. It made the whole being a musician real hard because I'm trying to be like angsty, and it's real difficult when you got real
really
supporting
hard,
parents who hugged you enough. It's
yeah. And like parents who were there. They showed up to your events.
They're still together. They never got divorced. Like they're. They love all of us, never hit us, nothing weird. Yeah. Like they're very supportive. And
I'm trying to be into punk rock.
I know it made the whole angsty thing really hard.
Oh well, shit. Well, you tried. So, did you go to school to be a musician, or just kind of like a freelance?
No. Actually, it was a guy in my church when I was in like 8th grade who started doing free guitar lessons. That was just his ministry, I guess. And I took to it. I really loved it. It was just Monday nights for like half hour, 45 minutes. I mean, really nothing at all.
Oh, okay, cool.
But I ran with it, and it was just kind of something I did for fun. And then I played at a couple different churches over the years, just with like the high school group, and then a few times like in front of the whole group and everything. But I ran with it, and it's my favorite thing to do in my free time now. Has been for a while.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I really enjoy playing instruments, but it's like when I have free time, I don't get a whole lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
So like it usually gets like put on the back burner.
Yeah.
And because like playing an instrument and like learning how to do it well is like a very active hobby.
Well, you're gonna have to talk to somebody else if you want to talk about doing it well, but I love it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, that's fair. But like it's a very active thing.
Yeah,
like it's an active. It's like a model plane building. Like it's something you could chill out and do, but you still have to be very focused. It's not you can't just like zone out and just like play instruments. Like you have to think about what you're doing.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. But when you really really like it, it's not much practice. It's you sit down and you do it because that's what you'd rather be doing rather than playing video games or model airplane building, which is very specific. Is there a reason that was?
Yeah, I used to build a lot of model airplanes.
That's I got the impression because that was a really hyper specific thing.
Well, because like honestly, it's one of those things like they're not that expensive and like you can do a decent job and other people are like, wow, that's really fucking cool, man.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it is cool.
Okay.
I used to have a bunch of. Now I just have one.
Where is it?
It's in my room.
You're gonna have to show me later.
Yeah, it's a Hellcat.
Okay.
It's a World War II American naval American like fighter plane.
Okay.
It's a Hellcat. They use them in tandem with the Marines or like a fighter bomber.
That's the one with the teeth and the...
No, that was the P-40 Tomahawk. That's what
Okay.
the Flying Tigers used.
Okay.
So yeah,
All right.
which is because like that's like the most iconic plane, but there really actually weren't a whole lot of Flying Tigers. It's like super iconic.
Yeah, but if you're trying to scare the other guy...
Yeah, I mean it worked. And also those things were like all metal and shit, and like the Japanese Zeros like plywood. So yeah, but
Yeah,
Zeros.
but they didn't intend to land those either, though.
No, well, later in the war. But the Zeros were so fucking fast, it didn't matter how much armor they had. You couldn't shoot them with a gun. It was really difficult until, like, later on in the war that we had kind of, like, figured out how to fight against them, and by that point they were obsolete. It was kind of weird. Like, in 1941, like, they were one of the most cutting-edge airplanes, especially in the Pacific, and by, like, 1945, they were completely useless, like, in terms of, like, combat effectiveness. It's crazy how, like, war will create innovation like that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the necessity for change. They get arms race.
Yeah.
You know?
But yeah, then they're like, well, it's more effective just to blow them up into ships than just to use them to fight. But oh well, it's whatever.
It's whatever.
I wasn't there, so I'm glad I wasn't.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like the best time.
Yeah. So you didn't go to post-secondary? You didn't go to college any?
No, I didn't. I don't have a great idea on why I didn't. It just was never something that was kind of on my radar. People are talking about applying, senior year and doing the whole thing, and it never jumped out at me. It was never like schools that I was looking at. I think part of it is that I moved to Texas my junior year, just before my junior year. And so I did junior year in Lindale and moved back because I hated it, and did senior year back home. So, I mean, all of my focus was on, I was living with my best friend, Tyler, and I was home. I was not thinking about everything. I get to hang out with my buddy, stay with him, do whatever. Yeah. And I mean, I didn't try real hard. I got B's, A's and B's, nothing real low. I mean, it was senior year. It's kind of, you don't have to try too hard.
Yeah, it's like 2 classes you have to put effort in.
Yeah. So I mean, I think I got like all A's and B's, but I wasn't thinking about it, and I wasn't trying real hard. It was just kind of like, yeah, I'll do the assignment in the class before. And I guess I'm a bad student.
See, and that's fair because like I'm glad that you like realized you're like, it's not really on my radar, and like you didn't like go to like a junior college or go to like just a university and then spend several $1,000s and like, well, that was a fucking waste.
Well, and that's part of it too, is I've thought about it, and I don't have anything against it, but I have enough friends that have gone for certain things like art or music or whatever, and if you can find a spot after doing that, that's great, but it's not easy to do.
Yeah.
I also have people that I've worked with in restaurants that have full-on degrees that have worked in hospitals and whatever, and they end up working in a restaurant anyway.
It's like, why not just cut out the middleman?
Exactly.
It's like, I don't need that growing experience.
I mean, growing experience, I grew quite a bit just from working, 1, 2, 3 jobs at a time, since I graduated. But if I go, and I don't have anything against it, I still think about it from time to time. I'm just going to have an idea in mind first. I'm not going to go with the idea of putting off getting a job because, I've already, like I said, worked several jobs at the same time.
Yeah.
Nothing like working a couple restaurants and a warehouse, but I'd figure out what I want rather than just go to get a general degree or whatever. It just makes more sense to me that way rather than just go and rack up a bunch of debt, even if it's like managed well or, just junior college. Like, it's still money that I'm not spending right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's and also like if you can make a solid living with the skills and stuff that you have right now, and if you're working for companies or waiting opportunities where there is a way to better your income, why would you bother going to school?
Yeah,
there's plenty of people I know that did not go to school and make a lot more money than I'm ever going to make.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's also hard to look at the outliers like that. I mean,
right. Yeah, that's fair.
What, Steve Jobs, right?
Oh, yeah. Like, I think he was a dropout. Mark Zuckerberg was a dropout. And, like, they all went to, like, super prestigious universities.
Sure, yeah.
But I mean, it's just, like, even, like, in blue collar, like, you don't have to go to school to be a plumber.
Exactly.
And then you can just, start out as an apprentice, then take your journeyman tests, and then by the time you're, like, 40 or 50, you can become a master plumber.
Yeah.
Then you're making, like, 6 figures a year.
Yeah, and you have to do that too, though. Like, it's very easy if you don't go to college to just start working, a job here and there. And serving is hard because I served for like 5 years or something. I was at Chili's for like 6 years, but I think I served for
Damn.
like 4 or 5.
That's rough.
And yeah, it's rough, but it was fun. I mean, I grew quite a bit. I was a lot more quiet and shy. Working there kind of forced me to be like more of a people person.
Okay.
And
I can see that.
made me more like straightforward, aggressive maybe. But it's there's some downsides too. Like the idea of a regular 9 to 5 kind of scares the hell out of me.
Really?
Yeah, because as soon as I started working, it was there, and it was, you know, I'd work random nights, random mornings, but I always had weird time off, and I could take whatever time off that I wanted to.
Yeah, that's like the great thing about the food industry. One of the few things that I enjoyed about it was like the flexibility of your schedule.
The flexibility was incredible, and the amount of money you can just walk away with if you're, you know, a half decent server in a half decent location.
Yeah.
And I was at least one of those.
One or the other.
Yeah, it depended on the day.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, I wasn't always thinking about like, well, I need to go be a plumber or get into a trade, because I mean, you just go pick up a shift and you make $100.
Yeah.
And so I got out of Chili's probably almost 6 months ago now, and I miss it at times.
Really?
But yeah, I do. I mean, it was a good time. Everybody gets real tight, and it's cool to be able to pick up a shift and make $100, 120, 100, whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas you're not just waiting for a paycheck from the other job that pays you, you know, biweekly.
Yeah. Yeah, because when I did delivery driving, it was nice to come home and have like $50-$60.
Exactly.
Like every time I worked.
Yeah. And if you screw up and it's somebody's birthday and you go spend too much on them or on you or on drinks or whatever, that's okay, because you're gonna make that $100 up tomorrow. So that bill that's due, you know, Friday, Saturday, whatever, you're gonna make it. It's gonna be okay.
I was always really good, and I still am really good about not spending a crap load of money. I think I manage my money overall pretty well. I think it's because like I know so many people who are like, oh shit, like I got $4 in my bank account. Like, what? Why are you out right now? Why aren't you home and just sitting there?
Absolutely. I was better at it for a long time. My biggest problem is I'm a little bit over generous with my friends sometimes. So like with me, I'm like, hey, this pair of jeans that I'm gonna wear 4 days a week, you know, for the next 2 years is $50. That's outrageous. Yeah. But like, let me buy a round of drinks for my friends because I love them.
Yeah, and it's like, that's like $50.
Yeah, that's no problem, you know, or throughout the night even. You know, you can easily spend that much. And
was it Saturday? Because you and I, we were up at Clicks. I think I left like including paying the cover charge and like my bar tab because took Ashley out. Yeah, and like it was all in. I think I spent like $65. Oh
jeez,
and like in like one night.
What do you were buying drinks for your girl too?
Yeah.
Okay, that's part of it. Having a relationship is expensive.
Yeah. But it's also worth it.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, like it was also like her graduation present.
Okay,
so like that's what it was.
It wasn't just a random Saturday night.
Oh no,
or whatever.
Yeah. Usually it's like, hey, we're gonna have like a 2-drink limit because I don't want to spend $50 tonight. But great. There's been one time I had to call people to come pick me up. It was like a Tuesday night, and I was like, I'm gonna go to the bar. I don't gotta work tomorrow, and then like wound up racking up like a $45 tab alone. So I was shit faced.
Yeah. And
then I woke up and I was like, and I left like a $15 tip. So it was like $55. Like, fuck.
Good for you. I'm happy about it. But you got to leave a big tip.
Yeah. I've seen my idea of like a good tip, because when I worked at Jimmy John's doing delivery, like if somebody tipped me $5, that was great. Yeah. So like I always like every time I go out to eat, if the service is like good, $5. Like I always think of like, because think about it, if you had 5 people leave you, like if you had 5 tables leave you $5, that's $50. That's like half of like typically what your shift's going to be anyway.
Wait, say that again.
Hang on. That's 25.
There you go.
If 10 tables left you $5,
there you go.
But also like I'm only a table at 2.
Yeah.
And I'm a very low maintenance customer.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially because I mean, look, I order like my steak rare because I expect it to get overcooked.
That's fair.
If it comes out rare, I'm happy about it. If it comes out medium rare, I'm still happy about it.
I'm gonna eat it.
If it comes out well, I'm gonna probably not go back, but I'm not gonna send it back and make it the server's fault. Like they didn't cook it.
Yeah, that's not their fault. It's because the guy, probably out there cooking, probably took too much fucking Adderall this morning or some shit.
Yeah.
Like, what is it with food service and drugs? So many drugs.
So it really is that you are working when everybody else is not. So when you get out, the only thing to do is be out late.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times, a lot of the people that I know, it's you have to be up really early, or you have to get through long shifts on your feet with no break. And so a lot of them do. They do that, and it's considered like a party job, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things where you can fall into it easily. I actually didn't see too much of it at the Chili's that I was at. And
I saw a lot of drugs at Jimmy John's, mostly weed, a little bit of blow.
yeah, weed is weed. You
Yeah,
know?
like, I mean, yeah, weed's, like, you could be in any, like, blue collar, fucking
Yeah.
shit. There's a lot of weed in blue collar.
Yeah, weed is weed. It's whatever. But I mean, like, I think as far as harder stuff goes,
Yeah.
I never saw too much of that at Chili's. So
Like, I'm pretty sure it's more prevalent, like, working at, like, a bar. Like working at a bar. Like, people doing
absolutely.
crank
Well,
and shit.
and the way it was there was a little bit different. We had, my mom works there. Yeah, she's a bartender. Or there was a few other people that was like a parent worked there, or an older sibling worked there, or a cousin. So there was a lot of family there. And then my buddy Reagan met his wife there, and they got married. They both still work there. Or no, I think she actually just quit recently.
Is this one in Lindo?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And so, but they worked together for a long time. So it was way more of a family dynamic rather than a lot of other restaurants I've heard people talk about where it's like people are hooking up and people are going to party. It was a lot more like close friends and family type.
No, my buddy, he works at a Chewy's. He used to work at the Chewy's here. Mm-hmm. And he transferred somewhere in the DFW area.
Okay.
And he's telling me it's like the same in like both Chewy's that he's worked at, where it's like the same group of people, like they're all like hooking up and fucking each other. So I'm like, dude, so like if one person gets the clap, does like everybody get it? He's like, yeah. He's like, unless you're in like a committed relationship with somebody up there, yeah. It's like, that's fucking terrible.
My old manager from up there, he doesn't work there anymore either. He told me one time he was working at a Chili's in California actually, and they had a big party with everybody that worked there and a lot of friends and stuff. And they all pranked their manager, who was like a huge prude. And so the next day, I don't know, maybe an hour before their shift, one of the girls called in and was like, hey, look, I hooked up with this guy last night, and it kind of like, I don't know, something, it's like stings when I pee, and like, and he's just like, okay, just like, I don't want to hear about it. Just stay home. You're fine. And then another girl called up and said, pretty much the same thing. And finally, my manager called up, and I think he was just a regular like server, a bartender at that point. And he's like, "Hey, look, I hooked up with 2 different girls last night from work, and like, I'm really worried that I should have gotten tested." Like they made up this, and he's just, and finally they all called and told him but dude, they made him so uncomfortable. He was just like, "Fine, you stay home too. Everybody just stay home.
Oh my God.
I don't want to be a part of this. I'm so uncomfortable."
That's disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah.
But honestly, though, like it's funny that they make it as a prank, but that's probably has happened before.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm sure. It, like I said though, with the one that I was at, it was a lot more of like a close friends and family type dynamic. It wasn't as much anybody messing around with each other. Yeah.
Maybe because it's Lindo and like it's not like a college town, so it's not like a whole lot of
what I was
people.
thinking. That, and then like a lot of us that worked there lived either in Mineola or Van or Tyler, or all over the place, and then a couple of them lived in Lindale, but we kind of came from everywhere too, so we didn't really have the opportunity to go after work at midnight, 1 a.m, and go hang out with each other in the same town because we're all going different directions.
Yeah. When I worked at the movie theater, because we just got out so late, like 3 a.m, it's like there's no way I'm doing it.
There's nothing else to do. That's why you hang out with those people and you do things that you do in the middle of the night, like you hook up, you do drugs, you drink. That's why people that work in kitchens or servers or bartenders, they all do that.
Yeah. Because it's like, well, I'm going to wake up at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning anyway.
Those are the only things to do when you get off, and with other people that are doing those things and work like you work. But to round it all back, I don't think I'd change it and go back to school, or have gone back to school. I still might if I can think of a reason to.
Yeah. I mean, but like school isn't for everybody.
It's not.
And like, I'm glad that like we're kind of getting to that point now to where so many people are like telling like their high school counselors like, look, I don't need to do that.
Yeah.
Like it's not what I would like to do anyway. So yeah. And I think that there's a lot of people that can be very successful without going to school. Now, granted, if you want to have a job that requires certification, then
yeah, absolutely. Or like trades, or they're the same thing. It's just not school, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But I made a few notes here.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
I made a few notes so I could gather my thoughts. But some of my thoughts on another thing with college is cost. Of course, the cost has gone up. Fuck. Like what, 2.5 times what it was in like 1980. Yeah. I think is what it was.
Yeah. Back in like when Tyler Junior College like opened, you could take classes for like $50.
So part of the problem, or at least part of the problem, I think, and you and I are pretty close on a lot of political stuff, and without going too far that direction, with the government giving out student loans, especially on something like a degree, there's no collateral. That's the same reason that you can't, bankruptcy doesn't get you out of student loans.
Yeah, because you didn't put up anything to begin with.
Exactly. And so there's nothing they can take. There's nothing. So when the government gives
soul.
us, well, I have a lot of friends that went to college, and I think they all lost that. But
damn liberal institutions.
I'm saying. But working 3 part-time jobs will do the same thing, though.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
It kind of just depends, as long as you have an idea of what you want and you're trying to follow it. But with government stuff, like I was saying, with them giving out student loans, the government is offering to pay for this degree essentially, whereas if it was a private loan, these banks wouldn't take a bet on arts degrees or this
why
or
the
that,
fuck would they?
because they know that you're not gonna. I mean, it's not a safe bet.
Yeah,
and
I think a way to circumvent that would be to they offer student loans for like you. I think you should still be able to get a student loan for anything, but they offer better loans and bigger loans for people that are like, I'm getting into the STEM field because I'm going to give back.
Maybe
in my profession, I'm going to go to school to be a philosopher or to do psychology or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like that's not.
Yeah.
You're going to be in school for a long time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I don't know if the government should be putting out loans because it's the same kind of thing. But when the government is going to pay for it, the schools look at it and they're like, well, you're not paying for it. The government's paying for it.
Yeah.
And they're going to pay for it anyway, so I'm going to hike the cost because they're going to foot the bill. Like
it's just like insurance premiums.
Absolutely.
And why that's so fucking. It's like, well, I mean, most people use insurance, so we can just charge you $450 for whatever procedure.
Yeah,
or whatever.
It doesn't matter to you. They're going to pay out.
Yeah, they're going to pay out, and then that just makes it harder for
everybody,
the lower middle class, to get insurance.
And so that's part of it. And you should be able to get a loan for whatever you want, but you're gonna, like you were saying, you're gonna get a worse loan if you're doing something that is not STEM, not or drama, arts, music. As much as I love these things, and these are the things that I really enjoy, I like arts. I'm not dumb though. I know that
they're not a driving force of our economy.
No, absolutely not.
It's not going to make you money in the. There's a reason.
It's also not going to make them money.
Yeah.
They know if you're not making, unless you get lucky and you're, get a role in a big movie or you end up some kind of record deal movie or rock star or something. The idea that you're going to be able to pay back the loan that you took out is way less of a good chance than you've got your, all of your engineering. All the top 10 paying fields right out of college are all engineering jobs.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And so they would easily make a bet on giving a loan to that guy because it's an engineering job. He's going to have a job right out the gate.
Yeah, and we'll be able to get that money back plus the interest.
Whereas the art student's going to be working at Starbucks. And it's not to shit on anybody because, again, I didn't go to college. I've worked at several restaurants, and I have a lot of friends that work at Starbucks, for example. It's not to shit on those people. Some of them are fantastic musicians, artists. It's just not something that you can get a steady job in very easily.
Yeah. Yeah, unless you're like a recording musician, like a studio musician, it's very difficult to have like a steady payroll.
Mm-hmm. And even then, it can be hard because unless you've got people coming in constantly, I mean, it's rough because if you're in a place like Tyler, I know there's like a couple studios around.
Yeah.
If you're doing work for them, it's like freelance, at least to my knowledge. You get a call and it's like, hey, come be in my song or come play guitar, bass, whatever. You only are working on that track, on that record, on that whatever.
Yeah.
So it's still not that steady. Whereas maybe if you're in Los Angeles, Nashville, Austin, perhaps you would have more steady work.
But your cost of living is significantly higher.
Yeah.
So it's
absolutely.
One of those things, like, it all comes out in the wash. So, and I just hate that we have so many people that are like, follow your dreams. You could do whatever you want to do. It's like, no, you really can't.
The hard thing with that is the people that will say that, like, they're like, you can do anything. You can drop out of high school and you can follow your dreams and not go to college and not pursue a trade and just be a starving artist. The ones that are telling you that are the 1 in a million that made it. So of course they're like, yeah, it's possible. I did it.
Yeah.
But it's what about everybody else who doesn't?
Or you want to go talk to Joe Sixpack, the electrician, who like is really good at like all these cool hobbies, but it's not going to feed his family.
Exactly.
It's like, well, no, I got like, or like a guy who knows computer programming, but like he's super, super talented in like music or art or some type of art, or whatever. Or like, on the side, like he makes short films. He's not trying to be, the next fucking Spike Lee. He just likes making short films, but he also does computer coding to pay his bills.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
or the guy that makes a great podcast and is a history major.
Yeah. Well, okay. I went to school.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, just because you went to school and you do the history thing, like that's why you and I have such great conversations all the time. But you make a great podcast because you enjoy it. You don't expect to make money on it.
Actually, I lose money on it.
There you go.
All this damn alcohol. Hey, so if y'all want to sponsor, you can get in contact with me at whiskeydanradio@gmail.com.
Shameless plug. I like it.
But at any rate, I do think that I went to school for $13,000, which is not bad for a 4-year degree, considering most people graduate with more than twice that. So I got out pretty good. I went to school for the cost of a Nissan Sentra. So that and then the interest comes out to like 16. So I'm ready to start. Well, I am, and I'm not ready to start paying on it. I've been deferring my loans.
Oh, okay. When do you have to start?
I don't want to start until like I'm in my career.
Okay. I don't know how any of that works. Do you get to just put it off or what?
Pretty much. They're super lean. Like, I was able to put it off for a year and a half.
Okay.
So I have until like June, I want to say.
Okay.
Start paying it off. Yeah. Because like I get an email, it's like, here's your monthly statement due, and it's like $0.
And what happens then? What happens in June?
Then I have to start paying like $138 a month for the next 5 years.
That's not bad.
It's not bad at all.
That's really not bad.
Yeah, like and like once I'm like in my career, I'll put down $200 and then pay it off in 3.5.
Exactly, or more.
Yeah, just whatever.
Get rid of it as soon as you can.
Depending on how much my Ranger will hang on.
Yeah. What do you think about the people that the attitude of I will just carry this debt with me till I die? And
that's really irresponsible.
Absolutely.
It's incredibly irresponsible.
But it's a lot of...
It's like, it doesn't really affect me. Like, I'm dead. It's like, that's really selfish.
Yeah. Well, and to me, part of it is you made the commitment. You did, you said you're going to pay it. You took the loan. But I get people looking for a way to better their own life at the same time.
Like, I get it, but with people who don't have personal responsibility winds up hurting other people around them. And
you and I have talked about, like I said, our political beliefs all the time, we're not exactly on track on everything, but we agree quite a bit. And
sure.
for me being a libertarian, like personal responsibility is a huge part of it because no one's going to help you. Yeah. No one's obligated to help you. No one's obligated to help you. That's why I think a real strong moral fiber in society is important with the libertarianism that I would think would really be best.
Yeah.
Is because you can lean on your church, you can lean on your family, your friends. People can take care of each other without it being at the barrel of a gun. But it's the society thing. Like you said, no one's obligated to help you. So the idea of a strong personal responsibility is very important.
Yeah.
So
how do you feel about a state-sponsored religion? And if you lived in that country, you have to be a part of the religion.
That's terrible.
Is it?
Yes.
Is it?
Absolutely. How does anything I just said be like...
Yeah, it would create a strong moral fiber.
Would it?
I think it would. Because I like the idea of freedom of religion is freedom from religion. It's like, what if you had no religious freedom? And you're like, no, you have to be Eastern Orthodox, or you had to be Catholic. If otherwise your tax rate's higher and you don't have any political say.
Isn't it like that in Egypt right now?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
I think so. It used to be like that everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're not, I think I have a buddy who's from Egypt and he told me all about it, but it's been a couple years since I've seen him.
I know that. A few countries in the Middle East are still theocracies. I know Saudi Arabia, it's a kingdom that's also very state-sponsored religion.
Okay.
So, but they're filthy rich because of all their oil.
Yeah. Well.
And then the rest of the country's in abject poverty because it's the middle of a fucking desert. There's nothing there except for oil and date palms. It's true.
Sounds like a great place to be.
Yeah.
You want a vacation there?
No.
You and me, oil and date palms.
I have no interest to go to the Middle East. And it's let's go to Dubai. Fuck no. I like having my freedom of speech.
Yeah, no, it's an important one. It seems like a really cool place, but there's a lot of other cool places that aren't as threatening to Westerners.
Dallas. Dallas is a cool place.
I like Deep Ellum.
I like Deep Ellum a lot.
Deep Ellum's great.
Yeah, I'm going to the Stars game this weekend, so I'm pretty happy.
Okay, cool. I'm actually going to
Stars.
Alexandria in Louisiana this weekend.
Oh yeah. Okay.
My buddies in Post Profit are playing I think it's their biggest show ever. They're opening for a couple of bands. I can't remember the second one, but
It's
I
like
think
a 4-hour drive.
3.5, 4,
Yeah.
something like that. I've never been, but they're opening for a couple of decent, I guess, 80s bands.
Okay.
I don't know them. I don't care about them. Post Profit are the ones who matter. Zebra, I don't know. They're the headliner, I guess, but it's at a fairly large like Coliseum, and
Alexandria's not that big of a town.
well, maybe it's near something like that. But like a stadium type place, and they're opening, and I guess they get like 45 minutes, something like that. Which
Nice.
It's real cool. So we're going to do that, and it's really just to back the guys up. So again, another shameless plug. Check my buddies out in Post Profit.
Yeah, they do a little bit of local touring around East Texas too.
Yeah.
I think they have a Facebook page. If
They do. They've got a couple of originals they've got dropped right now, and then they've got it was Same Sad Song was their they just made Billboard charts with that, like mainstream rock Billboard.
Yeah, I remember you told me about that.
Yeah, I just saw that the other day. I'm super happy for them. That, and they've got a cover of Post Malone's "I Fall Apart," which is awesome.
It's actually pretty fucking good.
Right?
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
I'm gonna drag you to another show that's not just at Clicks. Their Longview shows just go off.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Longview band, you know?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Longview in a little bit.
We'll fix it.
Yeah.
And they serve till 2. So.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, it's damn Smith County's dumbass laws.
Oof. Damp county.
Damn county. Now, one thing I did want to talk about, and because I gave you some topics, but this is the one I really want to get into, is historical context, meaning everything. Yeah. And the premise is, for all of you people that spend way too much time on the internet, like myself, you've probably noticed that, like Ocarina of Time, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, is regarded as one of like the greatest games of all time. And then people now, they want to like make a YouTube video like, why it's not the greatest game, and this is 10 reasons why it's fucking bullshit. And it's like, hey, buddy, that game came out in 1998. You know what else hadn't came out really? Like broadband internet. Like that didn't exist yet. So, like and then like high definition graphics in a flat screen television, like that, none of those existed. Cell phones, like in like today's, you know what I mean? Like online porn was not a thing in 1998. And people want to look
you gotta sit and wait for the fuzz to go away, maybe catch a nipple in the middle of the night.
Yeah, exactly. Like no. You went to the grocery store and you put down cash money and bought one at the counter. That's what you did for your Hustler magazines, 1998. But at any rate, the point is that people will like look at shit from like back in the day, like whether it be movies or video games or really any form of media. Music is another thing. Like, it's not that fucking good, because we know a lot more now than what we did then. And like you're judging something like, I love Ocarina of Time. I think it's a great game. I know
based on hindsight, judging based on hindsight, right?
And I played it as a kid.
Yeah. So nostalgia.
Yeah, like it's also. I mean, like, granted, like I see that there's flaws in it.
Sure.
But like, if you're like, oh, well, this game's kind of well, play a bunch of other games from 1998, and then like, oh, okay, yeah, that one's actually pretty fucking good. Like, don't
Pong, tanks.
Yeah. Or like if you're
that
playing,
wasn't 98, but
it's like 78. But if you're playing something like on a Super Nintendo, like a Sega Genesis, and like, hey,
Sega Genesis was the shit. Though.
Yeah, then you're like, hey man, my buddy's got this PS1 with fucking Tomb Raider on
Pong
it.
And tanks,
yeah. But if you went and like played Tomb Raider today, like the second one, you'd be like,
Tomb Raider on PS1, the first Harry Potter game on PS1, those were killer.
Yeah.
And looking back, oof.
Yeah, but think about it. If you play a bunch of other games that came out either that year or before, you're like, okay, yeah, these are actually really fucking good. Like you're comparing it to like the latest Call of Duty or like what's the
VR? You know?
You're comparing it to like VR shit or something like that. I'm so out of the loop on like big AAA titles.
Oh, dude, same thing.
Because like all I play are fucking indie games. I say indie games, they're like single A developers. That I play, except for I did play through Outer Worlds. Which, did you ever play Fallout New Vegas?
No, but we were talking about it last night, and you were telling me about it.
Oh man,
I played Skyrim. Skyrim absorbed my life for a good couple months, 3 different times.
Yeah.
Like from the beginning, But so then you and I got talking about that.
Yeah, because Outer Worlds, it's made by the same people that made Fallout New Vegas, which is the same people that made the original Fallouts. Once again, the original Fallouts came out like 97 and 98, and if you played them now, you're kind of like, man, this is really really in-depth, kind of quirky mechanics and stuff. But like, there wasn't an RPG like that at that time.
Okay.
And then like, and like when Fallout 3 came out, there wasn't a first-person shooter action RPG. That's why people loved it, because there was nothing else like it.
See, I never played video games enough to catch on like the time periods and cultures you're talking about. I got a PlayStation 1 when I can't remember when, and I played Spyro. I played stuff like that on PlayStation 1. When I got a PlayStation 2, finally one Christmas, I played like The Incredibles and Star Wars Battlefront 2 way too much.
Oh yeah, that's a great game.
It still is a great game.
It's still a lot of fun, but like, granted, once again, don't like play it and like expect what you're playing on PC today.
Oh no, this is the one time I went back and played it after trying the new Xbox Battlefront game that came out.
Yeah.
Still better.
Oh yeah,
actually
in regards to that, you know why? Because it's not a fuckload of like, hey, swipe your credit card for this shit. Like, look, I'm here to blow shit up.
In-game purchases.
Yeah, I'm here to blow shit up. But yeah, Outer Worlds. If you haven't played it, fucking get it. I know it was on Game Pass. If you have an Xbox One, it's on PC. I think it's still $60.
Okay.
Totally worth it. If you liked Bethesda style shooters, but you like played them and like, wow, these mechanics are fucking terrible, play this game. Runs way smoother. It's a shooter game that's also an RPG.
Okay.
And it's in space.
I like that. Space is cool.
Yeah, like you don't actually get to like fly spaceships.
Well, I mean, a little bit like let down now.
No, but you do get to like travel to like different planets and stuff.
Okay.
Like, it's not.
Is it like a loading screen between planets?
Pretty much,
okay.
Actually, because like it's like how in like Skyrim you were saying, like that's like one massive open world. Well, take Skyrim's map and then break into like 4 or 5 different little planets.
Okay.
And like a fifth of the map is like this whole planet.
So you can still check out the planet, but just planet to planet is a loading screen, and you do the
yeah. Like you have to like get on your ship and fly over there and stuff.
That's not bad.
It's really immersive. I really like it. There's a lot of personality in the characters.
Okay.
And it's a silent protagonist, so like Skyrim, unlike Fallout 4, where like your guy talks, which is really annoying. Like
I played Fallout 4 a little bit. None of the Fallout games have ever been for me, man.
I loved Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, and like Fallout 4 was good. Wasn't what I was looking for. I still logged like 120 hours into it. But
I had a hard time with the color palette on Fallout 3. Like staring at it.
Fallout 3, it's like, oh, why is everything piss yellow?
It's all piss yellow and like weird green and brown tones.
Yeah, and then Fallout New Vegas is the red game.
Yeah.
Like everything in it's red.
Yeah, and then Fallout 4 was a lot more vibrant, I think.
Yeah, it was like vibrant, but I don't know. It just wasn't the same.
I didn't love it.
Yeah. Like I liked it. Like I mean, probably in a couple of years I'll probably do a replay on it.
Yeah. I could like Skyrim, they had beautiful landscapes and skies. It was a lot easier to stare at. My problem with Fallout 3 wasn't just that it wasn't visually appealing. It was that it actually hurt my eyes to stare at that same color for a very long time, and I was like, all right, I'm done. I can't do this.
I mean, granted, the game's supposed to be a wasteland. Like, I get it.
Yeah, well, I know, I get it. It was very well done, but I think I need glasses now, and it's probably that game's fault.
Once again, game came out in 2008, so, you know. Yeah. But, like I was saying, in that, I think that in regards to judging things in the context of the time, I think that we judge people too much outside the context of their time.
I can see where you're going, absolutely.
Like,
Run with it.
Like, do you ever think about that? Like,
yes.
It's like Winston Churchill is one of my favorite historical role models. Mm-hmm. And like, yeah, he said some kind of he said racist shit back then. This was in like 1940, and then he was like, there was a famine that happened in India, basically because of the war effort. They were like taking food away to like feed the troops and shit, and people were starving in India because and then he was like, well, if they didn't have so many damn fucking people, they wouldn't be starving. It's like that's coming from, but that's not necessarily correct. And
it sounds a little bit like Stalin, but
and then people are like, oh, that guy's a fucking asshole. Like fuck everything he ever fucking did. Like that's not at all how.
Oh no,
works.
It's ridiculous. Another one that's a real divisive figure is Andrew Jackson.
Oh yeah, absolutely, dude. Like he murdered Indians, fucking butchered them.
Absolutely.
But he unified the country.
Yeah,
he kept the country unified.
There's a lot of good and bad. A lot of these people did, especially in real divisive times. I mean, really anybody that had to deal with American Indians back then, you were taught especially to think that they were savages, and in a lot of ways, a lot of them to you at the time were. Yeah. Because I mean, they're a threat. They're killing you. Well, you're killing them.
Yeah, that was the relationship that happened there, and I like looking back at it, like, oh well, we fucked up there, like sorry,
it's terrible. Yeah, no, I mean, of course it is. That being said, the entire world that is, as we know it today, has been shaped through conquest.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to say that we did something that wasn't notable for that time, I mean, all of Africa is still, I mean, a lot of parts of Africa are still a powder keg.
Yeah.
You've got
because
failed
of
states.
colonialism.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but that's the entire Earth. Yeah. I'm not trying to justify anything, but to say that we did something that was abnormal, no, we didn't.
No. Well, like one thing that I like to talk about is like a lot of people are like, oh, like all the like in terms of like the Confederacy and like the soldiers that like fought and then subsequently died, you know, in that conflict or whatever. It's like, well, those were the bad guys. It's like, well, you know,
it's a little more nuanced than that.
Yeah, and like let's be honest, like I think it was only like 4 or 5% of people in the South actually owned slaves, but it's like the ones that did owned a shitload.
Owned a whole bunch.
Yeah, because like you're having like your Joe Sixpack of the day. Or Johnny Rye whiskey, whatever. He didn't own any fucking slaves. He had like 7 kids and like a donkey.
Well, I mean,
he had a farm.
Bring it to today, dude. Look, you've got this little apartment, and I love it.
Yeah.
My house, I share with a couple of roommates. Dude, I've got my room and a bed, and I just got a TV for the first time in like a year, which is cool. Do you think I could own a slave? No.
Yeah, like fuck no.
No, my car is falling apart. Like I can't believe the wheels still are on the thing.
Yeah.
So you think I could own a person? No, I'm
No.
sorry.
No, yeah, like it's fucking true though.
Yeah.
And then like we want to judge those people, like, you know, it's like, oh, we need to take down that monument. It's like it's not about owning people. It's about the people that fought for a. I'm not gonna say that like what the Confederacy's cause was a good one.
Yeah,
like it failed, because I mean, in honesty, like it was not a sustainable working model. However, laws that were made in place that made it to where like the South was completely reliant upon slave labor. That was because of laws created by the North. They're like, well, you can't buy any more slaves. You can keep the ones that you have, and you can only really trade to. You can only sell your goods to factories up north where we can make the finished products and sell them back to you. Basically, what was happening to the South was the same thing that happened to the colonies in the 1770s, where like the 13 colonies were like, well, you have to send all of our raw materials back to England. We're going to make them into finished goods and then ship them back to you, and you can only buy them from us. You cannot buy French blankets or tables or shutters or anything like that. You have to buy them from England. We're going to sell them to you for way more expensive than what the French are going to.
Sounds a little bit like socialism with extra steps.
Yeah, pretty much. But that's what the North was doing, like to the South. And then like, well, the only way we can make money is by having slave owners. So you get like this tiny, tiny amount of the population that owned all the slaves and had all the money. And then you had like all these poor people, and it's like, hey, we're seceding. It's like, we need an army. Like, that's not that dude. That's not Johnny Cornfield's fault that he's over there fighting. But you know what I mean, though. Like, and then people want to like, oh, we need to take down that monument. It's a monument to slavery. It's like it's a monument to that guy who fought for a cause. That, you know, that he was forced to do.
What are your feelings on that?
What do you mean?
I mean, you've made it pretty clear. But what do you think about taking down Confederate monuments?
I think,
like point blank, not just with a story and contextually, but how do you feel personally about taking them down?
I don't think they should be taken down.
Neither do I.
In the same way that I don't think that monuments to the German Wehrmacht shouldn't be taken down.
Yeah,
I think
Auschwitz is a museum now.
Yeah, but like,
well, I think it's rebuilt, but it's still it's a museum. Like, I don't think that these. I mean, I think most credible people today, most intelligent people today, will say, yeah, that was terrible. Slavery's bad.
Yeah,
you got your fringe groups that are terrible. Everybody hates each other, whatever. But I think most of us can look at each other as equals today without having any weird feelings. Anybody would say that was all wrong, but the idea that maybe we should hide it, take it down, pretend it didn't happen, I don't like that.
Yeah, well, like no, that's what I feel like about like, you know, like on the Eastern Front, especially in World War II. You know, there's no monuments to any of those battles unless they're built by the Soviets. You know, and that was a war where an evil power was fighting another evil power. I don't care what way fucking left or right wing people are going to spin that on the internet. You had two evil powers that conscripted a bunch of people who had no reason to fight each other, blowing each other up. All that shit was. And I think that
everybody was involved at a certain point based on their treaties and based on who they were working with and based on how it benefited them. But you're right. I mean, Soviet Russia and, you know, fascist Nazi Germany. Yeah.
That, you know, the only reason why they fought is because their leaders had ideological differences.
Yeah, I mean, they worked together for a little bit. Like,
yeah, they destroyed Poland. And people would just want to brush that under the rug.
Yeah.
Whatever. But yeah, I do think that it, you know, that we shouldn't. That's why those monuments are erected, is for that to stand as like as a testament. Like, look, these people fought and died for something that no longer exists.
I mean, the Civil War turned like brothers and families against themselves.
Especially like in the like down here, not so much, but like Virginia, Pennsylvania, Maryland,
no, for sure.
A lot in there. A lot of families were fighting against each other.
Yeah,
very common. But that's just how it fucking was. And then also like 600,000 like combat deaths, and like each death is an American, which is more than all other like I was like up until like 2013, like all other combat deaths in the United States' history like didn't even amount to that. It took like to 2013 to get to that mark.
Jeez.
Yeah, just pretty insane.
Yeah.
Because like each death like counted as an American.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. That's terrible. So I mean, both sides count toward the total toll, but still.
But yeah, like I hate it when people think that they're being like woke and intelligent and smart and like, oh, like, well, that's fucked up, you know, like
take it down.
Yeah. Like by doing that, you're essentially just sweeping it under the rug, and you're making it to where you can't even look at the entire picture.
All right, so before we get back to anything serious, I want to take a break here to ask you a question.
Okay.
What's the drunkest you've ever been? Oh. I feel like we can have a fun story. We've been talking about real serious shit. So, what's the drunkest you've ever been?
I think it ties with two. Okay, one time, this is like the first time I ever smoked weed too.
Oh, good. You crossfaded that night?
Yeah, I might have told this on the show before. I don't remember. Basically, yeah, it was the first time I ever got crossfaded, and I didn't. I was like plastered drunk, and they're like, "Hey man, we got like this fucking cheap ass weed, man. You want to try it?" And I'm like, "All right, whatever. I don't give a shit." So I try it, and then I'd never been high before, so I didn't understand like how like gravity was gonna affect me when I was high, and I just like it was pretty chilly that night. I just like laid in my buddy's front yard, and I was like, "Yo, we could like dig trenches and like reenact World War I out here." And they're like, "What the fuck, dude?" I was like, "Nah, man, like we get like a backhoe, we can start digging shit." And then I like hopped up, and I felt like I like jumped like way higher than what I did, and I was like, "Dude, somebody call Isaac Newton because gravity is not working." I was like, "It's like $5 so I could jump over your house." He was like, "What?" It's like $5 says I could jump and get on your roof. And he was like, "No fucking way." So I did, took a running jump, smacked right into his wall, and like went right back down to the ground. And I was like, "All right, never mind, back to reality." Still really high, in a lot of pain. The other time I was at Ashley's old duplex. I might have got crossfaded then too. I don't know. I was drinking.
I was just taking a sip. Why you gotta hurt me?
But yeah, I was out there and we were taking shots and drinking beer and shit, and then I just remember I just couldn't get back up the stairs, and I used like the arm railing to like fireman carry myself up to the stairs, and then I had to like get a roommate to come in to take my shoes off because I couldn't do it.
I love it.
Yeah, those are probably like the two most drunk. But I've never like got that drunk and made good decisions.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's part of it. I've been drunk enough that I've like drunk me is taken care of. Sober me, I'll wake up and it's like 2 empty Gatorades by my bed and like a glass of water waiting on me, and those days are great.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Doesn't always happen. Typically, I don't get drunk much. I drink often, but not a lot. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
I'll very frequently have a beer or two with my friends, but
I'm not like drinking a 6-pack a night.
Yeah, I don't get drunk very often because typically I drive for my friends, so I'll have a beer or two and they can go crazy. And but every now and then when I get to really go at it and let loose, someone else is driving, I know ahead of time. I haven't done it for a while, but back then, last couple years really, there's a few nights where, I like to sleep on the floor when I'm really, really drunk. Or on a couch. Yeah, and so, that or just wherever I am, it's like, I don't need to go home tonight. I can sleep on your couch. Everything's cool. I just want to be right here. And yeah, and I've been told I close my right eye when I'm really drunk. That's when my friends are like, I squint my right eye and turn my head at you.
Oh, he's giving me the signal.
Yeah, it's like, no, he's done. It doesn't look real good. And I've seen pictures, and it's...
Now, I want to say the most hungover I've been was New Year's Day 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. I drank a whole 12-pack Old Milwaukee. No water, no Gatorade. I drank that and went to bed.
Empty stomach?
Huh? Yeah, pretty much empty. I ate New Year's Day finger foods and shit. New Year's party foods couple
You
wings,
think you're
Tito's
full,
and
but
shit.
you're not.
Oh yeah, because you already had like 3 beers. So I'm like kind of drunk and like eating that. Then like I finished the rest of that 12 pack.
Yeah.
And of course, like we had like shots and shit thrown in there. So I probably had like over the course of like 4.5, 5 hours worth of drinking, probably like 16 drinks.
Oh my god.
So I'm like fucking just shit faced. I'm at my parents, just getting hammered with them.
Yeah.
And I woke up the next morning and I had the worst I couldn't get because I don't ever like throw up. Regardless how drunk I get, it all comes out like when I take a shit. So I'm just taking like old Milwaukee and like Jim Beam shits the next morning. It's like make it stop. And then like all I want to do is just like sit there and like not have my head hurt.
Yeah.
Like it makes you so weak.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just
You gotta
like,
have another beer and a Gatorade.
Yeah.
And then go back to sleep.
Yeah. And that's pretty much like that's like because I got up at like 9, 10 that morning. I didn't like feel good enough to like get up and like drive away till like 1:30. Yeah. And that's why I was like, man, I'm gonna really start to like right before every show I do, I always drink like a shitload of water.
Yeah.
Because like just it helps with like the next day and like
Yeah.
you know if we got like tonight we got other friends coming over after the show. I'm gonna finish this.
We're
About halfway through.
That's
with the
half a bottle of scotch, yeah.
Yeah. So like after this glass, I'm just gonna chill out for a little bit, not drink anything till like they get here.
I might go crack a beer. So,
No, man, that's what I got the mini fridge for.
Yeah, hell yeah. You got something in there? Or should I go pick something up?
No, I got plenty in it. I think. Hang on.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we good. We way good. Jeez, you okay?
Yeah.
How are things at home?
Huh?
What?
What about my beer?
It's all good, man. Hey, you were asking me earlier about the California Texas thing.
Yeah, because you'd mentioned that you were from California.
Yes.
Like, what city were you like born in?
Well, actually, I was born in Oregon.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I was born in a little tiny town right outside Portland.
Oh, okay. A lot of heroin.
Yeah. But my folks were living out there at the time. We moved back, I guess, when I was still an infant, like under a year old, I think.
Okay.
So I grew up in their hometown, mom and dad's, in Lodi, California.
Is that like north?
Technically, yes. But if you look at a map, it's smack dab in the middle.
So like near Sacramento?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Right near Sacramento.
Okay.
And, 45 minutes if you speed just a little bit.
Yeah.
So I was there until my sophomore year of high school, and mom and dad sat me home toward the end of the year with my siblings and said, hey, we're moving. And we ended up in Lindale, Texas.
Why?
So my dad was in the Air Force right out of high
okay.
school. And he ended up at Randolph Air Force Base and loved it. Loved Texas, loved the politics, loved the economy, loved everything about Texas, and hated everything about California.
He's like, I can't fucking do this shit anymore.
Yeah. But the thing is, that was right out of high school for him. And this was like I said, it was my sophomore year. So, years and years later, he had
30 years.
He had already gone through, he'd been married like right out of high school too, and had my older brother. And then he and his first wife got divorced, and I think my brother was actually born in Texas, which is funny because until I was like 15, I'd never been here even. But so I was in Lodi, California until I was like 15, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
And he had just been spending all this time wishing he was in Texas, and told mom, hey, we should move to Texas. And finally, I guess when I was a sophomore, she said, all right, fine. And so my whole family moved out here, and we ended up in Lindale, probably because of that school system that everybody talks about. That's all.
Yeah, it is renowned.
It is. It's a little corrupt.
The thing is, though, is like it's one of those. It's a cross between like small town. It's like small town politics, but big town money.
Yeah.
That's like the best way I can put it.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you really got it with that small town politics.
Oh, yeah.
But I did junior year here, and I hated it. I moved back, and
because you're like 16.
Yeah,
I don't want to fucking be here.
Yeah, I'd never moved before.
That's like a buddy of mine. He's in the Marines now, and he's actually going to be preview. He'll be coming up on an episode here shortly. He's from Ansonia, Connecticut. Like it's like right like in the middle, like on the coast in Connecticut.
Yeah,
and not on the coast, but like closer to the coast in the inland part. And he moved to Hawkins, where I'm from.
Oh, you're from? Oh, that's right. You're from Hawkins.
Action
Sound, man.
Yeah, Action Sound, man. He moved from there to Hawkins when he was like 16, or like 15 or 16, like a sophomore in high school, and he fucking hated it.
Yes,
yeah,
obviously.
Yeah, like why? Yeah, you got taken from everything you know. You got moved to buttfuck nowhere.
There's a helicopter. There's a helicopter in Hawkins. That's what you've got. That's the only cool thing in the whole town, except for Action Sound. Love that place.
Yeah,
helicopter. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's just up on a pole in front of a lake.
Yeah,
pond.
Pond. It's the War Memorial out there.
Yeah, and it's actually really cool.
Yeah, it's a nice memorial for like a small ass town.
Yeah, it's solid. It's really cool. That's all they've got.
Yeah,
that's it. And that was me coming from Lindale. Okay, so Lodi, I think was at like. I think Lodi was like 75, 80,000.
So a little smaller than Tyler.
And that was a few years ago. That was when I was a lot younger.
It's actually probably less now because people are fucking moving the fuck out of California.
No, they're moving there, dude. You would not believe it.
Well, probably because they're leaving like LA and San Francisco and like, well, I want to stay in Cali.
Exactly. So it's bigger now. It is growing, but I think it's smaller than Tyler. So it's probably like 90-ish thousand now, if not 100, And so I grew up there. Here is what 100.
I think like, when school's in session, I'd say like 120.
120. That's what I was thinking.
But I think like tax paying, like people that like live here, like rent here, we're probably like 95 to 100,000.
I think so. So Tyler is a little bit bigger than Lodi. Yeah. But so I had moved to Lindale, and I really do like it here. I ended up in Tyler a few years after I lived here. But the dynamic between like growing up in Lodi versus spending a little bit of time in Lindale, and then the last 4-ish years in Tyler, it's a whole lot of different. Like, I mean, culture shock.
Yeah.
The
weed's
people,
not legal.
The people, dude, weed wasn't legal there when I was there either.
Yeah, but like you got away with it a little more, didn't you?
I've never smoked weed.
Never.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't.
No, not once.
Really?
No, I don't do anything. I'm boring.
Okay, that doesn't make it okay. Like saying that is like it's like I don't have any tattoos. I'm like, oh really? Why not? I'm like, I don't know, just don't. People are like, oh okay, that's actually pretty cool.
That's fair. I was the same way until I got a tattoo because some random couple that I met in Deep Ellum really liked me and found out I didn't have any, and I think they had money. They seemed like it. I mean, they're great people. Like I still am friends with them on Facebook and stuff. But we just met at a bar, and then they bought me a tattoo. He was like, wait, you don't have any? All right, dude, you got a $150 limit. Let's go right now, and I did. But aside from that, I don't have any tattoos or anything up until I was 23 years old. Yeah. But yeah, no, I've never smoked weed, never done anything. I drink. I like drinking. Drinking's fun.
Dude, I love drinking.
Drinking's fun. And honestly, part of it was I grew up in a very conservative household.
Same. I grew up in a conservative household that also had a lot of weed.
Hey, I mean, look, you're in East Texas.
I mean, like, there's nothing to fucking do. It's better to smoke weed than smoke meth.
Yeah. So okay. Let me cross this over. We're on a perfect crossroads here. So we're talking about me growing up in California, and then we were talking about drugs. Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
You ever watch it?
I'm familiar with it. I haven't like watched a whole lot of it, but I had a buddy who was super into it. So
I think you should. I just watched like all of it.
Okay.
And
because it's based around Hell's Angels, isn't it?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know what it's based on. But it's supposed to take place in Charming, which is a made-up town. But it's constantly throughout the show. I think it's supposed to be like the Sonora area. They mention Sonora. They mention Lodi. They mention Stockton. They mention Angels Camp.
Isn't that kind of like Central Valley?
Lodi was the Central Valley. It's like the foothills, I think. But they mention all these places where I've been. I grew up in Lodi. They mention Stockton. They mention Angels Camp, Sonora, and several other places, Sacramento. So it was filmed up near LA.
Okay.
But it's supposed to take place, like I was just saying. And the funny thing has been for me for a long time now is they mention Lodi, and Lodi is the good place to go get the good meth and, shit like that. Look, I grew up there, and you know how towns have like their slogan? Yeah. Lodi's slogan was livable, lovable Lodi. I mean, it's this little old white people. Yeah. I think it's German, like a lot of that. A lot of Mexicans too. We have.
It's California.
It's vineyards. We have a lot of immigrants come, and they work all the like actual hard work jobs that all the like white people don't care to work.
Yeah. They just want the wine.
Yeah, they just want right. They just want the wine. They don't want to work for it. It's ridiculous.
They have to pay for it.
Yeah, well, that's a whole different thing.
$4 an hour.
If you're lucky. It's ridiculous, dude. Pay them for real. But so I wasn't in the fun part of California. I wasn't in LA. I wasn't in San Diego, San Francisco. I would go to San Francisco for day trips. I'd go to Santa Cruz for day trips, beach,
Man,
all
dude,
stuff like that.
If I lived in Lodi, you bet your bottom dollar I'd go to a Raiders game and risk getting shot.
Yeah. You're gonna want to go to Oakland. Oakland's fun. Oakland,
Dude, isn't Oakland the Oak Cliff of California?
I just don't go to Oakland.
Just don't.
The only time I go to Oakland in the last 10 years is when it's the cheaper plane ticket to fly into Oakland rather than SAC or San Francisco.
I don't know,
and of course it's cheaper because people don't want to get shivved on the way to the, they're trying to get their bags, get off the plane, and get to just their taxi and get out of Oakland.
Yeah.
They don't want to get shivved on the way, and I don't know. But so what sucks is that, like I said, it was livable, lovable Lodi was the town slogan. It's just real cute, real sweet. Stockton is right next to Lodi.
Okay.
In the last 10 years, probably, it's been getting worse.
Really?
All that shit they say on Sons has been getting more true. Lodi is catching all that shit coming over from Stockton. It's all kind of running all the gangs. And Stockton had a bad gang problem. Lodi really didn't, even though they're right next to each other, almost like Lindale Tyler.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, it was really, really just the same way. In fact, probably even closer. And it's really sad actually seeing the progression. I was texting a friend of mine today because I was gathering some information just because I knew we were kind of touching on these topics. And I was talking about gas prices is what I asked her because so Tyler, I looked around.
It's $2.
Yeah, I looked
right now.
Vaguely. I looked around. I wrote it down just in case. I was seeing everything from 196 was the low that I saw up to 222.
Yeah.
For Tyler. And I hit up a few people I knew from back home, my friend Sierra, my friend Courtney, and they both were telling me it's everywhere right now from 309 to 330.
Fuck.
Yeah, and that's low though. She said, I think Sierra told me recently they were paying almost $4.
See, because I remember I visited San Diego 3 or 4 years ago.
Well, and we weren't in the city either. Lodi is, it really is Tyler, but more compact.
Yeah.
So similar population, but feels smaller. But it's not like San Diego or Dallas or anything like that.
It was $4.21 a gallon.
Yeah.
That's how much it was.
So, but
Fuck
so
that.
yeah, no, seriously. So for the whole crime thing, I was texting Sierra to get a kind of an idea on what it was like since I've been, because I've been back once in 4 years.
Yeah.
And that was for Sierra's wedding. Congratulations, guys. Love you. And and so I was talking to her about this today, and I told her I was going to come on, and she mentioned the things. She's like, you should talk about how Lodi's changed. Because the differences between here and there, you can talk about the dumb stuff where, here people call that thing that you put your groceries in a buggy. Look, it drives me up the wall. It's not a buggy, it's a cart, all right? It's a shopping cart. Is it drawn by horses? It's not a buggy, all right?
It's fair. Okay.
Let's see. Real quick, while we're doing this, when I was a server, people would ask for chips and hot sauce. It's salsa, dude.
It's
hot
not
sauce comes out of a bottle. It's salsa.
You put hot sauce on eggs and chicken wings. You don't
That's
put
what
it
I'm
on
saying.
fucking tortilla chips.
Yes. No, it's so salsa and hot sauce sides. Instead of asking what sides do you have, they'd be like, what vegetables do you have? And I'm like, we've got broccoli and I guess corn. And they're like, you don't have French fries? I'm like, I guess I don't know if that's a vegetable. And I realized when they say vegetable, they mean sides. Yeah. Or the whole what kind of Coke do y'all have? And I'm like, diet and regular. And they're like, you don't have Dr. Pepper? I'm like, that's not Coke.
It's not Coca-Cola.
It's that stuff that gets me.
Did the y'all get you a lot?
No. It didn't. I think that's more widespread than people think.
Okay.
It's way, way, way more used here, but maybe it's just expected it when I got here. You know what I mean?
I guess that's fair.
I knew I was
Have you
going
been
to
to
Texas.
Georgia? Or Alabama?
I've been to Alabama. I've been to Gulf Shores.
Okay, but Gulf Shores is super tourist. I mean, but
Deep Alabama, no.
Yeah,
why would I do that?
Dothan out, Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Shit, man.
So real quick though, listen to
backwoods.
this. This is what Sierra said to me. She was talking about what's been going on in Lodi. And she said, every time I go to visit, there's like a million more homeless people than when we were in high school. I've seen,
Damn.
Yeah. She's like, I've seen posts about people finding needles at Emerson Park. Oh, this Scotch is getting me a little bit. Oh, you gotta kill the rest of the bottle.
Good shit.
Posts about people finding needles at Emerson Park in the sandboxes and tent cities popping up in the field, which blows my mind because that's a nice part of town, literally down the street from the police station. I don't know a whole lot about what Chico was like before the campfire, which was that fire that took it was the big fire that took out a good chunk of the state last year.
Oh, okay.
Or this year, I'm sorry. But she had just moved to Chico, is what we were talking about. She's like, but there are homeless people everywhere there now too. They do needle exchanges in the parks, which I think is weird. Also, Ethan's bike was stolen out of the bike rack like 20 feet away from our porch in our apartment complex, and we live in a pretty decent part of town. And so all that stuff from Stockton, all the gangs, it's all starting to like flow over into
like trickle
Lodi.
down and
yeah, which is, again, it was the really cutesy like old people with money, and not all of us had money, but like all the old people that want to retire, there were nice.
It was a good place to raise a family.
Absolutely.
And now it's kind of turning into like, this is like where single people live.
It's turning into Stockton. It used to be funny because it was livable, lovable Lodi and Stockton. And then now Stockton is like flowing over to the point where people are like leaving Lodi.
Yeah. See, and like this is what gets me is like I love how like people like on like if they live like on the West Coast, like on the East Coast, and they just treat everything else like a flyover state, and it's like, oh, they don't fucking know shit. They're a bunch of like just whatever, and like you actually get to meet them, like, oh, actually,
I was guilty with that before I moved here. I didn't know better.
Yeah,
I was like 14, 15 years old.
Yeah, and then like you get here, it's like, oh, like actually, there's a lot of smart people.
There's
here.
real humans here.
Yeah,
they
like,
live here. They have dreams and ambitions, and they think about things. Yeah,
and it's like, oh, and there's a lot less drug use in town. That's crazy.
What?
Okay,
we're in a college town. What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, I've lived in Tyler for a long time, and I've only found one used condom. Like in a parking lot, I've never seen like a bunch of like needles or shit. And I've lived in some shitty apartment complexes.
Okay, so you're talking about like recreational drug use, not necessarily heroin and meth, but more like weed and coke.
Yeah, like
not that coke is okay because I can't stand cocaine.
Do not do cocaine.
Don't do coke. It's like
bad.
It's really bad.
It's
It'll
bad.
mess you up. I know way too many people.
It'll give you a heart attack like 30, man.
It'll make your nose bleed for no reason.
Yeah, no fucking reason. Fuck that shit.
Uh-huh.
Just drink alcohol.
Yes. Why don't you
just get fucking pissed drunk? Yeah,
that's right.
Next time somebody's in the bathroom, like, hey man, you want a bump? It's like, nah, man, my mom loves me.
I was hugged enough. No, you know what's shitty though? I always say thank you.
What do you mean?
People like I get along with folks, right?
Yeah.
I've had coke offered to
me.
Yeah,
and there's like, hey man, you want to do a rail? Like, no, thank you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. No,
like
no.
so
Yes, exactly. You always say thank you, even if it's no thank you.
Yeah.
You say that shit's expensive.
Yeah.
People are offering you cocaine. That shit's expensive.
Well, like
you say thank you. It's okay if it's a no thank you. It's better if it's a no thank you.
I love,
but it's a thank you.
I love the Hannibal Buress bit where he's like, yeah, like if like people like drinking, like, hey man, you want to get some drinks? Like people that are potted, it's like, hey man, don't want to smoke some weed, and like people that like do cocaine, like y'all want to party?
Yeah.
Like what? No, like whatever party y'all are doing.
Do you want to miss work till next Monday?
Yeah, it's like, hey man, like you want to stay awake?
It's like it's Tuesday. What?
do you want to snort all this white powder and get really, really sweaty for like 45 minutes and immediately wish you had some more?
Yeah.
Like, is that what you want to do?
Oh,
that's what this will make you do.
Yeah, no, I had a friend of mine who told me he did crack once. And he was...
Or just straight up crack rock.
Yeah, no, straight up said he did crack once. And it was, hey man, don't ever do crack. Look, this dude tells me this stuff. Just don't do crack. He was like, it's one of the dumbest things I've ever done, and I've done a lot of dumb stuff. Don't do crack, because I did with some people, and I was like, all right, here's the problem. I don't feel anything. I just want more crack. And they're like, yeah, no, that's what it is.
Then why do it in the first place?
He's like, it was the dumbest thing I ever did, because I didn't get high, I didn't get nothing. I just wanted more crack.
That's rough.
So don't do crack, kids, because it just makes you want more crack, and that sounds expensive.
Yeah. Well, see, like, and this is the problem that we have with drugs, is that so much of like street drugs like that, like crack cocaine and stuff like that, like it's cut with so much extra shit that's not actually what you're trying to get.
Especially when it's coming from China and you've got the fentanyl problem right now.
Yeah, and it's just killing people. That's how Mac Miller died.
Yeah, no, the opioid problem in America is insane right now.
Yeah, and then and it's like it's so hard to get like like, whether you like to sip codeine or take hydrocodone or stuff like that. But if you're buying pills in like a shady kind of spot and like it's not like a prescription, there's a solid chance it's got fentanyl in it, and that shit's gonna fucking kill you.
Fentanyl does not take much at all. What, the size of a pin? Something really small. Like, fentanyl will fuck your world up. Yeah. That's it. You're done. Yeah. Because, you're the guy that sold it to the guy that sold it to your dealer stepped on it a few times. Mm-hmm. I mean, and that's it. You're done. Have a nice, afterlife. Yeah. If you believe in that. Where are you? Whatever you're doing, you're done.
Yeah. That's not like in I jokingly had said, I was like, man, like if I could get like just like 100% like pure opium, like,
oh geez, opium.
But
Lord.
I was like, I'd smoke it. Like if it was like pure opium, like let me take a hit, see what all the rage is about.
All right, so
and then just lay in bed and like, this is really cool.
So I don't read a lot of books anymore. I don't make time for it like I used to. But I used to love reading, and I read mainly biographies and autobiographies, musicians. Kurt Cobain, Eric Clapton.
I have his journal collection.
Hell yeah, I'll have to check that out. Kurt Cobain, Eric Clapton, Nikki Sixx, Vince Neil, Tommy Lee, the Motley Crue guys, the Nirvana guys, Slash, all the old rock stars that at this point are old enough that they've written either a biography or an autobiography. Well, they've written an autobiography, or someone has written, someone else did it because he's dead. That's the auto part. So, with... Shit. Why do you keep feeding me scotch? I lost it. What was I saying?
You're talking about autobiographies that you've read?
Yeah, right before that. Yeah, sure.
That you don't make enough time for reading?
Yeah, but no, this is the last thing that led me into this.
Smoking opium?
Yes, Steven Tyler.
He smoked opium?
Fucking yes. Steven Tyler did everything.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, no, his... Okay,
I'm a huge Rolling Stones fan, so...
Okay. So with Steven Tyler, his was the first one I read, actually. I was in 8th grade. It wasn't a biography or an autobiography. It was a memoir, quote unquote. It was...
He was alive.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't write it.
Okay.
But it was Does the Noise in My Head Bother You? Is what it's called. And he writes about, it's what kicked off me liking musician biographies, autobiographies. Yeah, okay. And he writes about, at one point when he's in like China or Japan, I can't remember. It was Asian. Where's the opium?
China.
He was in China. And he went to like an antique shop and found a pipe. And the pipe still had opium in it. And and look, he may have been exaggerating for the sake of the book or whatever, but he said it still had opium in it, and he's like, I lit it up. He's like, I got my entire floor of the hotel super high. And I don't care if it's true or not. I love reading that. That's hilarious. It's terrible. Don't do opium, but...
Well...
What? No.
Okay, like my argument is like if it's like a pure opium,
does that make it better?
No.
Look, as long as you get some like pure heroin, is it okay?
I mean, that'd be opium.
Exactly.
Which I mean,
that's what I'm
like. You just like lay on your couch and just like that'll smoke a bowl.
That'll mess you up. That's the whole thing.
You won't feel anything. You're like, yeah, I mean, you can like give me a circumcision. That's cool. Just like let me smoke this real quick.
Are you trying to take something that can make somebody steal the end of your dick without asking? Because that's what you just said.
Pretty much. Oof.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't sound fun, does it?
It kind of does. In like I don't care about anything anymore kind of way, but I do.
Because opium.
Yeah, because opium. But and that's the problem. Like with I think that we have such this problem in this country with drugs is that so much of that other shit is like for a long time. Like I was scared to like buy weed because I didn't want to like be like laced with meth or some shit. But now you can just do a road trip to Colorado and buy like a fucking ounce of weed. And like unless you're just smoking all the fucking time.
I heard something the other day that said like there's some weird law that may or may not go into effect in Oklahoma that might. I think it was Oklahoma.
Well, in Houston and Austin, they've pretty much decriminalized it.
Yeah, but decriminalize is different from like having an, like you said, go to Colorado and dude, I'm all about it. I don't do it, but I think everybody who wants to should. Yeah.
Granted, although like when it's like just tax me, I don't want to pay $75 for a G.
No,
don't tax it like that.
You're gonna call your old like plug, and he's gonna have you like 15 a G. So like, nothing changes.
Honestly, like in Colorado, like the weed wasn't that much more expensive. It was like. It started off for like 8 for a G and like went up to like 20 depending on what you wanted. I didn't spend more than $15
when I knew people that were moving it, it was
God, it's so good.
At the time they were moving it for 10 what they could get around here, and I knew some people that moved. They moved some stuff. They got several ounces from Colorado on a road trip that they moved for about 15.
Yeah, dude, my cousin, he went to a big 4A, D1 school out on the East Coast. I'll tell you later where he went to. But he says, I was paying like 20, 25 a G. It's like, what? Dude, what? Like, yeah, he was like, yeah, apparently like they figured out like all the frat guys didn't really know how much weed cost. I was going to say,
this dude doesn't, look, we just talked about the fact I've never smoked weed. I wouldn't pay more than 15.
Fuck no. Like, I'll get a 30-pack and just get hammered.
Yes.
That cost.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Like I said, I've never smoked weed, and I would not pay more than 15 for a G. That's terrible.
So would you, yeah. I think he was paying like 20 or 25.
They're probably selling him oregano, too, if they're that gullible.
Yeah, like, apparently, like, it wasn't even that good, because, like, he came and hung out with me, and I was like, hey, man, I got this shit. And, like, it was, like, I don't even know what the fuck it was, but that shit was good. And he, we smoked it, got really high, and we had to call some friends to take us to Whataburger.
Because you're hungry.
Yeah, because we were hungry as shit. I was like, yo, give me that double patty. And, like, he's not from Texas, so, like, he doesn't get Whataburger.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, hey, man.
I just had a friend in from out of town recently, and she loved Whataburger for the first time.
Yeah, who the fuck doesn't?
She said, hey, look, I'm going to give points to anybody who's listening, all 12 of you. And that's, being liberal.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Hey, look, I know I'm listening. I love it. She loved it more than In-N-Out. So that's the more California versus Texas shit.
In-N-Out like a little bitch burger.
Hey, yo, take it back a little, all right?
Like, it's
cheap as hell.
Yeah.
And yo, Whataburger is overpriced.
It is.
It's overpriced. And it's a good burger. It's a big burger. It's good. But look, I'll go to DQ and get the same damn burger for a lot less.
Oh, yeah.
In-N-Out's it's fresh and it's cheap as hell.
Yeah. Well, like, Whataburger isn't expensive if you get, like, a number one medium fry, medium drink. It's like $7. Which is like,
you get up there and you look at the menu and you're like,
you're like, you look at that shit, you're like, I really want that Monterey Mel, to be honest with you. You see the shit, you're like, yeah, give me that with the fries and drink. Like, all right, that's gonna be $10.25.
Gonna get like bacon and like I want like extra cheese, but like white cheese, like
and then like a little piece of avocado there. It's
like
that wants to be like a $13 fucking burger.
You're like, I could have gone and bought like 3 pizzas and been fed till next week.
Yeah, it's like I could have went to Super One and bought like steak.
Yeah, right at this point, right? Oh my god.
Shit. Well, I think that about wraps us up. I think we hit the time limit.
Yeah, I think we're pushing it.
Well, hey, there's always next time. So
I will be happy to. This was a great time.
Yeah, like with this episode 17, I can't believe it's gone this far. I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to be on the show. Is there anything going on in your life you want to tell the listeners?
This is 17?
Yeah. Sarah was like, "No, I was on 17." Like, no, you weren't. And like showed it to her.
I had it down on my notes right here as 16.
Oh, I'll put it on the chalkboard as 17.
I can see that. Damn it. Okay, I screwed up big time. Now, I mean, it's just for me in my notes, but no. I'm not trying to plug nothing. I've got lots of friends that are fantastic musicians that I would love to plug rather than myself. You've got Colton Higgins, he's incredible. Simon Young, all the dudes in Post Profit.
Simon Young has a show coming up at Clicks Saturday night. Saturday.
Yeah, no, Colton's opening for Simon and Keith, right?
Yeah. So if y'all are in the Tyler area and you're listening today, you can check that shit out on Saturday night up at Clicks Live.
Yeah,
Tyler,
no, Texas. I want everybody to have a great time. I'm not trying to plug nothing, but like check out my friends because they're fantastic musicians. Colton Higgins, like I said, Keith and Simon are playing Post Profit. In Post Profit, you've got Matt, Zach, Nick, and Jordan. They're fantastic. But just I don't know, support local music, I guess.
Hey, and if you want to get a taste for local music, you can always head up Yamato on Wednesday night, open mic night. Great crowd. Drinks aren't that expensive. And
no, it's a good time.
It's a great vibe.
There's a little fire pit. We have a good time, and it's a great place to be.
And then Mike, the guy who runs it, been on the show. Awesome dude.
Mike's awesome.
So if you ever want to meet me, Mike, Alec, or Keith, you can just hit us up there. If you have any questions or would like to have us review an alcohol for a future show, you can email us at whiskydanradio@gmail.com. Tonight we had Dewar's
white label
Scotch whiskey, and it's like I think it's like $23, but it's the cheapest Scotch you can buy it's the best bang for your buck. Johnny Walker's great. It's just a little bit more expensive.
Next time you and I are gonna do, I'm gonna bring it. Like I said, we were gonna do it this time. This shit worked out funny. I will bring it next time. I'm gonna get a bottle of double black. That's our next time we do this.
Yeah, dude, absolutely.
I will bring it.
But like for all the people who want to get into Scotch, this is one to start with. It's got a white label and it's got like a Celtic knot on the bottle. Super easy to spot. It's like 20. It's less than $25.
It's smoky, but it's got the little almost like citrus.
Yeah.
You know, a little taste of citrus. It's kind of vanilla.
You were drinking it neat. I had it on the rocks. But if you want to mix it with something else, you're more than welcome to do that. I think it's a great whiskey for that. So,
oh, absolutely.
All that being said, I believe we're done here.
Cool, man. Thanks for having me.
Oh, dude, anytime,
It's
man.
a great time. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
All right,
I'll take it easy.
That was fun as hell, man.
Dude, everybody says that, like, right after. I wish they said that after sex.